Monsters at the movies. Thanks to listening.
He's got one foot in the frying pan and one in the pressure cooker. Believe me, as a bowler, I know that right about now, your bladder feels like an overstuffed vacuum cleaner bag, and your butt is kind of like an about to explode bratwurst.
Hey, do you mind? I wasn't talking when you were bowling.
Was I talking out loud?
Welcome to Munson's at the Movies. My name is Kyle. I will once again be your host, joined by the rest of the Munsons. Want to give them a wide berth.
He's what is called a born loser. A real Munson.
And talk a little bit about what's going on in their worlds. This time we'll start with Aubrey.
You would think the end of the school year would bring great joy and relief, but instead it has brought immense amounts of stress. I feel like it's oppressive and on me all of the time. And I want to talk about something really serious that I think we should all take a second to talk about. And it's how American sports have failed us. And English football is the superior brand of sport. Because I have become a fan of Tottenham Hotspur in the English Premier League. And they are in a relegation battle. Mm-hmm. Which means if they do not succeed in this relegation battle, they drop out of the main league in English football, the top tier division, and drop to the second division, which no one cares about and is significantly harder for me to watch. They haven't done that in like 50 years. I've never experienced this level of pressure and stress while watching anything in my entire life. And I've been a fan of sports my whole life. I've watched the Raiders lose a Super Bowl spectacularly and lose other games leading up to that. I'm a White Sox fan. I think I might be the only one left. Mm-hmm. Combine all of that, and none of it amounts to the stress I felt watching Tottenham play just this past weekend. And I've never cheered for a group of adults I've never met to be unsuccessful so hard in my entire life. This is my pitch. Everyone should get involved with English football because relegation is the single greatest thing in sports because it creates a tension unlike anything else.
Could you imagine the intense and elaborate methods of cheating coaches in the NFL would implement if relegation was on the table? It'd be fabulous. Diabolical.
Canadian Football League is on the table. Yeah, it's bad.
I think it's an incredible concept. It'll never happen over here because we are socialists when it comes to the impact of billionaires' wallets. I think it'd be great for the Jets to get relegated because then Woody Johnson would be forced to sell the team, and he should. It would be great. I would love to see relegation in American sports.
So this is what we're getting. Here's the campaign speech. Term limits, relegation, taking down Citizens United. That's a political campaign I think somebody could win.
I'm in.
All right. Toss it over to James.
We're officially on baby watch over here. We had our last ultrasound, and they said that Leslie Bibb III is measuring completely on time, and because of that, we think he's coming early. I've scheduled every meeting I possibly could because I'm like, oh, shit, I don't have as much time as I thought I did, and so I'm trying to get everything done before I take time off. And so if I need to bail on this podcast, you'll know why.
Well, James, preemptive Opa for you and Kate, whenever that happens.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Case, what about you?
Well, I continue my journey into hyper database building. And as I was going through the numbers, I recently got to our scoring. I'm looking at things and I'm realizing that we've covered actors that are far less interesting and have far less of a career than Elvis Presley. So the question, Kyle, is he one of the actors eligible for the wheel?
That feels coercive what you just did by dropping that, but I understand. All right, he's on the actor list.
Yes, that's all I got in my life. I'm still out here campaigning for Elvis Presley to be known as one of the greatest actors of his generation.
In my world, I'm coming off the pain of watching my Pistons lose in Game 7 to the Cavaliers, and by lose, I mean get absolutely steamrolled off the court by the flopping James Hardens of the world. But it is what it is. Had a good run. You can only win so many Game 7s in a playoff run, and that number was 1. 2 was too many.
Bro, you're talking a lot of shit for someone who lost to James Harden in Game 7.
But the other side of it is much like Case in his world, just like in a constant state of moving and unpacking and putting things on walls and everything that comes with moving into a new house. So I'm coming to you all recording from a new space.
Sounds nice.
But on to better things. We're excited to welcome back Chip Hessenflow to the podcast. Chip is a former co-host of the late Too Much Scrolling podcast, kind of the OG that led to the Munsons coming together. So we're very indebted to him and Steve.
Yep.
He owns a financial planning practice in the Chicago area. He works with all sorts of people who are much more interesting than he is, allegedly. He enjoys his career, which lends him time to think and sometimes be creative. Chip was born bald, but Chip previously joined us for the James Marsden, Emma Thompson, Matthew Broderick, Andy McDowell, Steve Carell, Juno Temple, and Chris Pine episodes. And looking at that list, I think the only actor that probably crossed over with Giovanni Ribisi is James Marsden in 10th and Wolf, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So welcome back, Chip. How is it going in your world?
It's an exciting time. I mean, we had marble-sized hail to start off the day.
Nice.
And I had clients calling me and they were happy. I mean, what more can I ask for?
It's an incredible life you live.
It feels like the perfect setup.
And I got to watch a whole bunch of movies to prepare for this. It's exciting to be back.
That helps me perfect my sentence of, Chip, what do you think?
All right, Chip, we're happy to have you back. My friend, thanks for being here. And let's dig into some Giovanni Ribisi.
Yes.
All right, birthdays for May 28th. Two goodies today, short but sweet. First one, Carey Mulligan, known for projects like Never Let Me Go, Shame, Drive, Suffragette, Maestro, Saltburn, She Said, Promising Young Woman, Wildlife, Inside Llewyn Davis, Brothers, and Pride and Prejudice. Case, if we ever cover her one day, she's got like 30-some credits. You'll be obsessed. How old is Carey Mulligan?
And most of them are good, man. She's a great actress.
She is.
He didn't even say a bad movie in that list right there.
I did not.
Loved her in Promising Young Woman. I think I'm going to have similar answers for both of my guesses. I think she's 38.
This is probably top 5 or 10 favorite actresses right now. Love Carey Mulligan.
Wow.
And I feel like it's only respectful to not play games with Carey Mulligan. She's too good. So I got to take this one seriously. A lot of her movies fit kind of around the time that I'm in, like the age bracket that I'm in. I don't remember watching a lot of stuff from her before I was like in college or before that. It only makes sense to probably clock her around like 22.
Knew it was happening.
Oh, good grief. Give me 40.
Oh, high guess on the board.
Sorry, James.
I'll just throw out a number 30. I really don't know how old she is.
I like your air, though. You went keep it low but respectful.
I know you don't know her age because somebody guessed 40, and they would be accurate because she's turning 41 years old. So that's a great case.
And I've never tried less. That's the best part. I'm telling you, James, all your test-taking strategies are starting to bleed over like osmosis. I love it.
All right, let's see how good James' test-taking skills are to guess his own age, because he was in New Girl, Safety Not Guaranteed, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Jurassic World, Tag, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, Joshy, Drinking Buddies, 21 Jump Street, No Strings Attached, and Get Him to the Greek. How old is James D'Imperio, a.k.a. Jake Johnson?
So the reason why I knew this is because we are one and the same. That's my stage name. And so I turned 38 just a couple days ago.
The problem in trying to figure this out is I need to figure out the age where he started looking the way he looks now.
I was like 24.
Then count from there. I've seen him in a ton of things, and he looks exactly the same in all of those things.
Yeah, for real.
I have no idea how old this guy is.
He looked like a middle-aged man in New Girl, and he was like brand new to the acting world, and he already looked exactly how he looks now.
I'll go 40 again. Kyle's been so busy lately. I think he was just lazy and just said, who's turning 40 today? And it said Carey Mulligan and this dude, Jake something or another.
Jake D'Imperio?
Yep.
If I were to guess, and I put my white guy strategies at play here, I would guess he's around my age, which is 39. I'll be a little generous and say he's probably around 37. But then because he's a white guy, I have to take off about 3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Because he looks older than he is. So I'm going to guess he is 34.
I'm going to go 40.
That a boy.
No, we had two 40s, right?
Yep.
I'll go 41 then.
Oh, that is a last-second cucking. Jake Johnson turns 48 years old, so Chip with the last-second guess is going to win that one.
Oh.
Wow.
Nice job, Chip.
Interesting. So happy birthday to them and anybody else with a birthday on May 28th. This is episode 136. We had 5 actors we threw onto the wheel. None of them were DMX or Elvis Presley. They were Tommy Lee Jones, Allison Pill, Sienna Miller, and John Favreau. Just like Elvis and DMX, they weren't selected either, but the wheel did select Giovanni Ribisi, who has 108 credits, 5 producing, 5 cinematographer, which is unique for our world. We haven't really covered many actors that have gotten into cinematography.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. It's one of the little nuggets about him. 3 soundtrack, 3 directing, and 1 writing. So he's done quite a bit in the space over the years. Before we get into the details, we talk about the highs and the lows, the things that interest us, the roles, the movies, the shows we liked or didn't like, and everything in between. But before we do that, for those listening, James always turns off his camera because he has to hide his poker face because he's about to see if he can stump us with some actor trivia, Fast and Furious style.
Kyle, that is correct. When I play actual poker, face isn't that bad. When it comes to reading off these facts that are linked back to one of the many illustrious members of the Fast and Furious franchise, it's hard to keep a straight face. Chip, you are a member of the initiated, so you know this game, but for everyone listening at home who might not, I'm going to read off 3 facts, 2 of which are going to be true about the man of the hour, Giovanni Ribisi, one of which is not going to be true about him, but is going to be true about one of the many illustrious cast members of the Fast and Furious franchise. The gentleman here are going to have to guess who that is. I want to let you guys know in advance that I learned a lot about Tyrese this week, and I could not apply any of it to this. So,
Wow, okay.
but none of these are about Tyrese. I can wipe him off the board, but I tried really hard to make them about him.
That feels like a get off my trail moment, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, they're on to me. Okay. Fact number 1, his family has been connected to the music industry throughout his entire life, from his father, who's in a band that had a song reach number 1 in 6 countries, to his brother-in-law being 8-time Grammy Award-winning musician Beck. Fact number 2, in his free time, he's an avid collector and restorer of vintage film cameras, and once loaned one of his personally restored cameras to a director who then used it to film one of his movies, which ended up being nominated for Oscar for Best Cinematography. Fact number 3, he's appeared in 3 films which have been nominated for Best Picture, although none of them ever won the award.
Well, number 3 is off the table because unless it's Helen Mirren, there's not a chance in the world that fact relates to any movies any of those actors have been in. So I'm going to cross that one off the list ASAP. I got to go with fact 1 is the lie because I like to think Vin Diesel sits around saying, I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? Like that's... He's got to be related, right?
Naturally.
Okay. That's what I thought. Shout out to Boiler Room.
Yeah, I think it's also the co-star of Boiler Room, Vin Diesel. I think he's got a secret cinematography addiction, and I think he has a wing of one of his many mansions dedicated to what would be considered a cinematography and vintage camera museum. That's why I think number 2 is about Vin Diesel.
Good tracking shots.
Great tracking shots.
It's obviously 1 because what you guys are forgetting is Iggy Azalea was in a Fast and Furious movie.
It was.
She could be related to Beck.
Is he Australian?
They're both white. That's my logic there. That's what...
You Ben Affleck.
They are both white. That is correct.
That is, if you're going to force me to reveal my strategy, that is the strategy.
Shout out to another co-star of Boiler Room.
I'm going to go with 2. I have no real reason for going with 2. I had to pick 1.
Completely fair. So fact number 1, his family's been connected to the music industry throughout his life. His father is a member of a band who had a song reach number 1 in 6 countries. And his brother-in-law was 8-time Grammy Award-winning musician Beck. That is true.
Really?
Yeah, his father is a musician who played keyboards for the band People, ! At the end, People.
Uh-huh.
They're an admitted one-hit wonder. Their song, I Love You, rose to number 1 in Japan, Israel, Australia, Italy, South Africa, and the Philippines, peaked at number 14 in the U.S. Also, Beck married his sister, his twin sister.
Really?
Marissa, and they were married for 15 years and they had 2 children together before they divorced. And him and his brother-in-law are fairly close. He helped promote a couple of projects he was doing and actually announced one of them as well. Very musically tied family. Obviously, Beck and his sister have since divorced, but 15 years and 2 kids, they still remain fairly close.
That's very interesting.
Fact number 2, in his free time, avid collector and restorer of vintage cameras. Ribisi actually has a deep passion for analog film and vintage camera technology. He spent time restoring one of the 35 available VistaVision cameras. One of the restored cameras he loaned out to a director. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. His name's Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, wow.
He had this movie, I don't know if you guys had heard of it, called One Battle After Another, where he only used 3 vintage cameras, and Ribisi's camera was the primary camera used throughout the film.
What?
Yeah, the movie won 6 Oscars, and it was nominated for Best Cinematography.
Think of Tom Hanks and his love for vintage typewriters. This seems very similar, using an old camera and restoring it.
Yeah, Ribisi actually has a organization that he runs that restores these cameras and then provides them essentially for free to people because they're expensive, since there's only like 30 of them in rotation. He really cares about maintaining that art form, and he loans them out to anyone who is, creating a film and wants one, because they're obviously pretty unaffordable. And so when someone with the prestige of PTA reached out to him, he's like, of course you can use it. I mean, so I'm trying to do this for young filmmakers. Of course, legendary ones also can use it. And fact number 3, he's appeared in 3 films which have been nominated for Oscar for Best Picture, although none of them have won. That's actually not true. He's actually appeared in 5 films which have been nominated for Best Picture. So 3 would be kind of undercutting his achievements here.
Oh.
All of them have not won the award, but that would be Saving Private Ryan, Lost in Translation, both Avatar movies, and Selma. This fact was actually about, Kyle, you were correct, is Dame Helen Mirren, who's appeared in a measly 3 films that have been nominated for Best Picture, having never won the award. That would be Gosford Park, The Queen, and Barbie, but obviously she's most famously known for portraying Maggie Shaw, the mother of Deckard Shaw, Owen Shaw, and Hattie Shaw in The Fate of the Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, Fast 9, and Fast X.
So I didn't get it right, but I feel vindicated by my process.
Correct.
So that's the important part here. Okay.
And it is kind of mind-blowing watching Giovanni Ribisi's career that he wasn't in any Fast and Furious movies.
So are there any weird guy roles they could have filled with him?
Everyone, it could be a weird guy.
Is he part of the family?
That's true. That's a good point.
If you watch that first movie, he definitely was in mind when they wrote some of those side characters.
You're right. That one character looks like a knockoff Giovanni Ribisi now I think about it.
All right, James, that was good. Case, you've got a whole lot of data these days, so tell us a little bit about how Giovanni stacks up in the box office comparatively to the other 135.
As you look at Ribisi's numbers, you quickly see that the box office strength is clearly being a part of the Avatar franchise. One of the highlights of his box office snapshot is that he ranks, I think, 14th in total earnings worldwide at $9.5 billion. That's billion with a B. But that isn't the only highlight being a part of the Avatar franchise. The second jewel in his box office snapshot is actually the film Lost in Translation. That movie had an enormous box office earning against a modest film budget, including Lost in Translation. He has 4 other movies that landed very high with critics, fans, and did well in the box office. That's Saving Private Ryan, both Avatars, and the movie Selma that we've talked about several times in this podcast. So you're probably thinking he's only got positive box office data, right? Well, no, he's got some stinkers too. I Love Your Work is a film that only earned 0.2% of its $2 million budget. And on top of that, it earned that 0.2%. It earned almost 80% of that on the opening weekend. So that movie got destroyed in the box office, and it very little life after opening weekend because word of mouth came out on that one. To balance out Ribisi's top 5 movies that hit on all fronts, he also has 5 movies that got crushed by critics, fans, and box office. First Love, Last Rites, the aforementioned I Love Your Work, The Bad Batch, The Mod Squad, and Flight of the Phoenix, which I believe was with Dennis Quaid, one of the other Munsons we've covered. Finally, last episode I introduced the 3-act career numbers for actors. He's clearly in the best part of his career right now. Third act on his career ranks him 46th, and his film score in his current era is a 59.8 across all metrics. He's got a 59% fan ranking, which ranks him 86th. 54% critic ranking, which ranks him 92nd. Average budget, $52 million, again, bolstered by Avatar movies, ranks him 40th. He's currently ranked 1,448 in Star Meter, which puts him at 85th in our metrics. And then the 2 box office metrics that involve return on investment, he's 39th and 15th. Overall, with our current ranking system, he ranks 54th out of 136.
I mean, 54 is high for what I would think, but that's because he's being carried by Avatar. Just a vast amount of money that brings in.
People just love those big blue cat people.
I was also shocked that his peak being now, in my mind, very much late 90s, early 2000s was the first thing that came to mind for me.
Well, he did a lot of movies in that era, but I don't think many of them were very good.
Fair.
The ones that are really good, he doesn't have a huge role in.
Yeah, that's true.
If you look at 93 to 2001, his film super score is 55.6. And since 2012, his film super score has been 59.8. He's in a lot better movies, I think. He just doesn't have as big of a role.
Good starting point.
This one's kind of odd for me because 54 made sense to me. Like, he just said it, and I kind of just nodded my head like, yeah, that tracks. But like, when I think about it more, I don't know why that tracks for me. He's one of those actors that he sticks with me.
Yeah.
Like, even going through his filmography to prepare for this, I haven't seen like a ton of things he's been in. But he is just stuck in my mind. I know who this guy is. I know exactly what he looks like. Like, I know the type of roles he plays. Like, he's just super familiar to me for some reason. I feel justified by the 54. Thanks, Avatar.
I think it's because he's just like a scene stealer, character actor who will play part of the ensemble cast. And then there'll be like one or two scenes where he swings for the fences. And you're like,
yes,
that was hilarious, or that was weird, or that had a lot more emotional power to it than I expected this movie to have.
He's not Chris Pine or Glenn Powell with like leading man, charisma, handsome, but he's just weird enough that like every movie's in, you're going to remember his role, or after you're like, oh shit, I didn't know it was him, but I remember his performance. All right, well, that's a good foundation for us, Case. Thanks for getting us rolling.
You bet.
See how that Munson Meter lines up. All right, first major role we're going to talk about is 1995. So everything before that, as James talked about, he's born in LA, 1974. His parents, his dad's keyboard player, mom was an actor / writer manager. And as James mentioned, he's been a Scientologist since he was a child. If you look on the list of famous Scientologists who are actors, he's number 4. It's Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Elizabeth Moss, and then it's Giovanni Ribisi. It's not like a thing he adopted in his teenage years or as an early adult. Like we had Lord talked about like going into the Hollywood space as an actor. People would be like, you should convert to Scientology to get more roles. It's like he was born into this. Been doing it for years. His twin sister, very active in that space, the one who married Beck. First Scientologist we've covered in 136 episodes, so that's interesting.
It's only weird because it's the newest one. All right? They're all kind of weird. This one just happened while we were alive, so it's the weirdest of the ones.
First role that he ever was behind the camera for was 2 episodes of the show Highway to Heaven in 1985.
R.I.P. Michael Landon.
That's right.
Michael Landon was actually so famous at one point that when my mother, whose last name is Landon, went into Ancestry.com to get her family history, they just blindly said Michael Landon was a relative, and that's just simply untrue.
Well, after his appearance on Michael Landon's show, Michael Landon was on that show for 111 episodes, he had his first chunky role, which is on the new Leave It to Beaver as Duffy. From 85 to 89, 16 episodes, recurring character in that show in the mid to late 80s. I don't know much about this, but I imagine the new Leave It to Beaver was probably a big deal after Leave It to Beaver was such a pop culture thing.
I was going to say 4 years, 4 seasons of that? Wow.
Yeah, I don't even remember this show.
A lot of TV there for him is where he got to start. So he was in My Two Dads as Corey for 42 episodes between 87 and 1990 because he was born in 74. So, I mean, he's a child actor at this point in time because he's turned 16 in 1990. So by this time, he had done over 60 episodes of television by the time he was 16 years old. You know why you can't find anything about him playing sports and doing other stuff? Because my dude was acting from the age of 12 to 16 through his middle school and high school years.
Yeah.
Fucking putting food on the table.
That's right. His dad wasn't making shit as for people as a keyboard player.
Not a lot of money being made for one song.
His formative years, when he's 17 and 18 years old, he's in Davis Rules as Skinner, 16 episodes of that show.
And then the classic here.
The Wonder Years, 15 episodes as Jeff from 92 to 93. I knew about The Wonder Years.
I also thought Winnie Cooper was adorable, and I would have loved to date her when I was in 4th grade.
I feel like that's a perfectly relatable human experience, James. Apparently, he played Jeff Billings in the 6th and final season of The Wonder Years. He was introduced as a good friend to Kevin Arnold, serving as his main right-hand man and filling the void left when Kevin's best friend Paul Pfeiffer had a reduced presence in the show.
I remember the rumor that Paul was Marilyn Manson for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, obviously not true, but I remember that was the rumor.
So first movie he did was one we haven't talked about since the Holly Hunter episode, which is hard to find anywhere, but The Positively True Adventures of the Alleged Texas Cheerleading Murdering Mom, which is one of the all-time great movie titles.
Great movie title. Critics liked it.
Yeah. All right, well, why don't you hypothesize for us, Case, of first major role, which is the movie Mind Ripper from 1995, which wasn't originally a first major role, but it was like the first thing I watched, and I texted you, and I was like, Case, there's a lot of Giovanni Ribisi in this movie, so enjoy yourself.
You'll see a lot of reviews that will say that this movie was his first major roles. I think you made the right decision scientifically. Morally, I disagree with your decision.
It's bad.
Mind Ripper's not a good movie.
No.
This originally started out as The Hills Have Eyes 3. So this got into the studio's attention because Wes Craven was talking about The Hills Have Eyes 3, but then his son took over the script and then reworked it. So far in a path of nepotism, we continue, where Wes Craven's son takes the movie over. He says he'll produce it. So sometimes you'll see it as Wes Craven presents Mind Ripper. Sometimes you'll see it as The Hills Have Eyes 3. Sometimes you'll see it as Mind Ripper. So this ended up being a 1995 straight to HBO film, kind of a sci-fi horror film that follows a group of scientists who use an experimental virus to reanimate a suicide victim, inadvertently creating a mutated super soldier named Thor. Lance Henriksen, I'm a fan of, and he's done a lot of really cool projects, is the main star in this, and he's the lead scientist who quit the project because he found it to be unethical and did different things with it. But he would later get pulled back in when Thor was on the loose and they didn't know how to stop the virus. A lot of different characters in this movie are coming and going, but Ribisi plays his angsty, tag-along teenage son. It's filmed very darkly, with a bunch of dark corridors, questionable special effects. And then in the middle of this, you got Ribisi's performance. And his performance really is a preview of what we're going to see in subsequent films following this. Even in this early role, he heavily displays the signature kind of nervous energy that would come to define his entire acting career. He comes off naturally as very unhinged, unpredictable, and filled with teenage angst. And one of the most bizarre moments of this film is him rapping while making microwave popcorn with the monster standing behind him. It's bizarre. While Mind Ripper itself was a dud, several different areas, Ribisi's chaotic performance no doubt caught the attention of casting directors. I would imagine they noticed his intense, unconventional screen presence. That exact flavor of manic, endearing weirdness probably landed him one of his iconic roles as Frank Buffet Jr. on Friends shortly after this. But ultimately, Mind Ripper is a sloppy, gory mess of a movie, but it serves as a raw, unfiltered start to the Giovanni Ribisi career. I did not love this movie.
I was about to say, that's a very respectful review from you, Case, for a movie that's just, I don't even think it's fun bad.
No.
Like Wes Craven, his name being attached to it probably hurts his soul.
If this movie were made like in the late 2000s, it would have felt like they were just making a movie based off of a video game that people happen to like. That's the energy that this movie gave me. It wasn't very good. The only redeeming value of watching it is I think it is a good way to start his career.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the release date of 1995, and while it was released on HBO, I keep thinking of Blockbuster at the time needing material. You know, in the horror section, you see Wes Craven's name, you see the poster of this.
Yep.
It's slop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like an amateur type of approach because he's done a ton of TV by this point. It's not his first acting role.
I wish I could rip it from my mind.
That's
there
good.
it is.
That's good. That you buried that one for way too long.
One of the new data fields that I have in our box office database is a category called Huh. It's the movies that got crushed by fans, critics, and box office. Huh being, why did they make this movie? And if this movie had been released in the movie theaters where box office would have been trackable,
it would have
landed in the Huh.
All right. I love the pun there of ripping it from your mind, but it never will. It's stuck there forever.
It is stuck there forever.
So Case alluded to it, that between 95 and 99, the next thing that kind of came up was his role as Frank on Friends. He made 9 appearances between 95 and 2003, so over 8-year period.
So this is what I know him from.
I fully agree.
Really?
This is the first thing I remember him from.
This is when I fell in love with Giovanni Ribisi. I am a insane Friends fan.
Okay.
I've seen every episode of this show somewhere between 7 to 10 times.
Wow.
I absolutely love this show. And I am here for no slander, no matter what anybody says. I love Friends. Him as Frank Buffet is amazing.
If you were about to say but, I was like, I'm totally disagreeing with you because I thought it was hilarious.
There's no but. I have no notes. I have no notes on Friends. I don't think I ever say anything negative about Friends. I think it's all amazing. His character is insane. And it works so well because as the show goes on, Phoebe becomes weirder and weirder. Like they find where that character really is. And he comes in and kind of lays the groundwork for how odd that character is. Because he is one of the strangest people I've ever seen on TV.
Yes.
This tracks.
He's so funny in this.
He doesn't make it cartoonish. He plays it straight as a weird person.
Yes.
He can do that.
Yes.
He crushes it.
He's her brother, and he marries his home ec teacher who's like 50 years older than him.
Mm-hmm.
And every time someone like brings up their age difference, he just like acknowledges, yeah, he's like, yeah, she's 50 years older. And like, what do you want me to do about that? Like, it's like not a joke to him. It's very serious. They're in love. Like he does not ever wink at the camera. And I think that's what I loved about his performance is that he's hilarious and weird, but he doesn't make it cartoonish. He's very much committed to the bit.
Yeah, he's playing it straight. He's like rarely like trying to present something that's funny, but it's also oddly grounded.
Yeah.
Like he's like a real person. Anytime he just has to try to explain himself or what he's doing or what he thinks to anyone is just a complete mishmash of things. He's great in it. By far my favorite thing that I've seen him in. And that is 1,000% bias.
He said it's the one role that he gets recognized for the most, that he is the most confused by what the people are referencing when they come up to him. He's like, I was in 9 episodes and people will come up to me on the street and be like, oh my God, I love you when you did this thing. And they'll explain this absurd thing. And he'd be like, are you even talking about me? What was that reference? And they're like, Friends. He's like, oh, right. Yes. Okay. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I was high on peyote in my 20s. What you want?
Aubrey, I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult that your favorite thing that he did was something that he basically did was his second major kind of high profile role after his appearance in The Mind Ripper.
Nothing about connection to Friends is negative. The highest compliment I could pay someone.
All right.
There you go. That's good for the Munson Meter. Again, doing a lot of television. So from 85 to 95, in that 10-year span, so between the ages 11 and 21, he was in 13 other TV shows, including NYPD Blue, Ellen, X-Files, Twilight Zone, Married with Children, and Walker, Texas Ranger.
That is a crazy list, dude. 90s primetime television list.
Honestly, the only thing I'm shocked that he's never been in an SVU episode because they hire weird dudes all the time. And I feel like he would be like, yep, that's the guy. Put him on.
It may be his mother and father or connections and his ability to get in that have allowed him to have, whatever roles he was able to put together to build a career.
Oh, yeah.
Chip did it again. He came through with a great insight. And I'm just like, doesn't NYPD Blue cover that? Like,
It's true, though. I mean, you got to think he's got some connections to the world, but not enough to get a bunch of big pictures out of the gate. So he's working as a middle school, high school, early 20s kid, and he's just getting TV work as a character actor. It makes sense.
And one of the real challenges of a young actor is earning enough income to continue to do it as you wait for your Friends moment or, whatever it is to become the star.
Mm-hmm.
Next film in here worth noting, and that's a big one there from the mid-90s, That Thing You Do plays Chad in 1996 alongside Cranston was in that, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He's such a Chad.
This movie's an absolute delight. It's a guilty pleasure of mine.
This is a great film. If you want to know what Tom Hanks brings to his energy of his writing and producing, and I think he directed this.
Yep.
This is a joyful, fun movie where the song starts out and it's catchy, a little bit, slow, but it becomes catchy. Mm-hmm. And by the time the movie ends, it's played out. So it is certainly a one-hit.
And he plays the original drummer, right? Before he gets hurt, like breaks his arm or whatever.
He breaks his arm. And then at the end, the dad of the new drummer is in the living room with Chad, who is watching it now, an employee
at the appliance store.
At the appliance store. And it is just really funny. I mean, the dad has totally dismissed his son's drumming career, but is so excited he messes up the lyrics as he's watching his son play drums. And Chad has basically taken the place of his son at the store. Once again, Tom Hanks really ties us up in a beautiful bow.
This was a first watch for me. Thought it was a lot of fun. It's the type of movie that you get done and you go, that was delightful.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could see myself watching that movie like 20 more times over the span of my life. Like, it's just a good time.
Makes you appreciate Tom Hanks even more. Well, Case, did you watch Suburbia from 1996, a Richard Linklater film where he plays a character named Jeff before he got reassigned as no longer his first major role?
No, I didn't.
I feel like I should have watched this. The cast looks pretty cool.
I think this movie received mixed reviews because when you watch a Linklater film, if you're not prepared for that style of storytelling, it's very easy for you to go like, what the fuck is the point? And for that to be like a justified response.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like understanding that he does like slice of life movies and you're just kind of along for the ride of the story. Because all the reviews are like, is this just like knockoff Clerks? What is the point of this? And then you watch the movie and it's just like kind of like dialogue heavy interactions between groups of friends.
That sounds like a Linklater movie.
Exactly. Like it's like very
dialogue heavy.
What is the plot? It's like, oh, we're hanging out outside of a convenience store and my friend's going on a rant about consumerism and I think he's full of shit. And you're like, is that a plot? Be like, no, but it is fascinating for sure.
It's like everybody wants them. People are like looking for a plot. No, it's just the weekend before the baseball season starts.
Yeah.
It's just dudes being dudes. That's the movie.
That question, what is the point? And the answer is whatever you want it to be.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's kind of the brilliance of Linklater. I wish I would have got to this for that exact reason. I love that kind of stuff.
Same.
I just saw Eric Bogosian's the writer on this. I think that's interesting.
You know what else is interesting, Case?
What's that?
Another Boiler Room coworker crossover here with Nicky Cat.
I watched Boiler Room first, and so when I saw him in this, I was like, holy shit.
Not the only two movies I know him from.
Yeah, it's the only two roles I know.
He married Mariah O'Brien in 97. They were divorced by 2001. He has a daughter named Lucia with her. He became a dad right before the millennium, somewhere in there.
As you're talking about the mid-90s here, but listen to the Hollywood heavyweights he's attached to. Mind Ripper, he's attached to Wes Craven. That Thing You Do, Tom Hanks. Lost Highway in 97 with David Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
97, Costner with The Postman. 97, Linklater and Bogosian. Going into Saving Private Ryan with Spielberg. I mean, the start of this dude's career from a film perspective, this is insane.
The person who is helping him get his roles, certainly would it gold star after gold star. I mean, what do you say? I mean,
yes.
Like, you're going to work with all the best, and some of these are going to be classics.
It's like the opposite of the Leslie Bibb episode from last time. We're like, what were you doing?
That's exactly right. I know a lot of people would shit on it and say, well, nepotism and, blah, blah, blah. That can get you the first one or two. But I listed like 7 movies that if you're not good, Steven Spielberg's not putting you in the movie. He could care less who you're related to.
Yeah.
It's an insane start to his feature film career, at least.
He had to have the talent there.
Yeah.
It's hard to say nepotism just because someone works in an industry. It's like if my kid starts a nonprofit, and it's worth $1 billion, be like, well, his dad was in a nonprofit. I will remove myself from that conversation immediately and be like, no.
I'm going to cause violence, real violence.
I think it speaks to the professionalism of a character actor, which is something that I think it's overlooked at why the really great character actors are so successful is because they're professionals. They show up and do a great job. That's how you get casted by all of these great people. When you pop up in some of these movies, some of these directors, even for short roles, it speaks to your professionalism to show up in a Sofia Coppola movie for just a little bit. That says a lot about you and how you approach your craft, which I think matters.
So let's talk about how he joined one of 20 other aspiring young male actors. We've only covered this movie one time in 136 episodes with Bryan Cranston. That's wild to me, is Saving Private Ryan. He plays T4 medic Irwin Wade.
I wanted to rewatch it and mostly focus on his performance. And I'd say for an ensemble cast, I feel like he brings a lot of emotional centering, I guess, for lack of a better term, to every scene that he's in. And I think this is the first movie where I was like, for a big cast that gives great performances, he steals the scene of two particular scenes that he is in, where this is a very emotional movie and dramatic movie. And there's two scenes of his where it's it doesn't matter that Tom Hanks is on screen. He has your attention fully. And I was really impressed by it.
I had just moved to Chicago when this film came out, and I had a buddy of mine from Richmond. His brother had just gotten out of Marine basic training, and so he's sitting on one side of me, and on the right side of me, I looked over, and it was a whole group of men and women, silver hair. These were all kids who may have been part of that invasion, Normandy at the time. And my friend's brother was he's puffed up and he's going to go see a war film. And he's getting ready to go start his career in the military. And truly, he's got all the hubris of a person who had just exited basic training, is prepared for his job. This is going to be a good career. And to the right, I look over and you could just see the tears rolling down all the people who had survived that invasion. It hit me very hard just because you have these two contrasting parts to it. This is something to really see the cost of those types of battles. This had to set Tom Hanks up, Pacific Band of Brothers, and the Air Force One that's on Apple. This is an incredible film.
He plays the medic. And when he dies, crazy emotional weight to that scene because they're asking him how they can fix him. And without saying it, he essentially is like, you can give me more painkillers because I'm not going to make it. And that part's hard. But the other scene is when they're talking about what they remember from when they were back home and their parents and what their relationships were like with their parents. And he just kind of goes off on a monologue about how he's the son of a single mother who had worked doubles. And no matter how hard he stayed up to wait for her, he would fall asleep. And then sometimes she would come home early and he would fake being asleep. And she'd come home early to talk to him. And it's super melancholy. And it's him in real time regretting what he did when he was 8 years old, because there's a chance he can die tomorrow. And I'm like, damn, this is incredibly emotional scene and war movie, and there are 10 tremendous actors, and all of your attention is on him in those two scenes specifically.
Yeah.
This is such incredible praise for Giovanni Ribisi here in 1998. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but did anybody else watch the film he did in 1999 called The Other Sister, where he played Daniel alongside Juliette Lewis?
So I have some thoughts, but I would love to hear yours first.
No, go ahead, James.
Okay, so it was a different time.
Not a good start.
I will say this. I don't fault him and Juliette Lewis for playing the characters that they were told to play. That's how I will phrase it. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make the movie better, but they've fully committed to it. What can you do? They don't come out right and say what they're mental disabilities are. It's said by other characters, but it's not like, hey, here's what they've been diagnosed with. But yeah, they are playing kind of like a cartoonish version, I guess. And so it's pretty hard to watch.
If you were Googling like lists of films that are exploitative, if there was like a membership association out there that was like, hey, if you want to know where they get it right and where they don't get it right, this one's firmly on the don't get it right side. And to your point, James, maybe there's some leeway given to the two of them in the role they're playing, because at the end of the day, they have a script, they're taking direction. But something like this, the words on the page translate very differently to how you play it. And Juliette Lewis in particular, I thought was pretty offensive.
I looked at some of her interviews about it now, and you can tell very clearly that it was either like the executive producer or the director or the main screenwriter or screenplay, someone who had major creative overview of this.
Yeah.
Their sister was special needs, and that was clearly used as the launch point to tell this story that is exploitative. And looking back, it's very funny. It's like, I can't be racist. I have a black friend. It's like, that's how it comes across, where it's like, I'm not being mean to people with special needs. My sister has it. And be like, that doesn't really mean that, you know? It's like,
is there a mimic going on here? What's happening?
I was thinking, What's Eating Gilbert Grape came out in 1993, and that had Leonardo DiCaprio playing a special needs person. We had Forrest Gump came out in 1994. And we had Tom Hanks playing probably the luckiest person ever to exist with special needs. Joe Dirt came out in 2001. No, I'm teasing you.
Sir, you don't slander Joe Dirt like that on this podcast.
But if you were going to do a film like this, the one I'm thinking of is The Peanut Butter Falcon that came out in 2019.
Yeah. Shia LaBeouf.
Where there was a special needs person who actually was a star.
Delightful.
Very interesting.
This one will not be forgiven on my Munson Meter, I will tell you that much. So thank you, James, for watching it, though. I appreciate you going down that route with me. 1999, what a year of film for Giovanni Ribisi, because we have our lowest critic score, which is the Mod Squad, who plays Peter. Chip, as our guest Munson, drew this one, and he said, I'm going to lay on this grenade Saving Private Ryan style.
This is a really bad movie.
Yes.
This is pre-COVID, so it wasn't like they had COVID to give us a situation on this. This is 1999. Somebody went out and said, television show from the 1960s that no one is, that our demographic that we're going to aim for this film is going to know about. Somehow we're going to write a film that's really going to ignore all that intellectual property. If you wanted to write this film, why would you need to buy the intellectual property for it? I mean, this is where I came from it. This movie just doesn't have any common sense to it. You enter a world, you're following the logic of the story. It just doesn't really follow very well. I don't think the actors particularly play very well with each other. But if you went to it and you're looking at like to rent it, you're going, oh, they gave it 3%. Doesn't get much lower. Fans don't like it much more, and it's truly understandable. It's really unfortunate that this film was made. We all take chances.
This movie is how you waste a lot of really good talent, from Omar Epps, Claire Danes, Giovanni, Dennis Farina. It's one of Josh Brolin's earliest films. Mm-hmm. Steve Harris, Richard Jenkins is in this movie. It's a very talented cast, but the writing is poor, and they're trying to revive this TV show all these years later that just didn't hit whatsoever. And I just don't think that Ribisi, Claire Danes, Omar Epps dynamic really worked.
I think you guys have made great points. And so instead of me adding less great points, I think we should play a game. And the game is, at what minute did I turn this off? Because I didn't finish.
Ooh, 12 minutes.
12 minutes? 20 minutes and 31 seconds.
Oh, wow.
I was sitting at my table and I just stood up and go, why am I doing this? And I left. It was a terrible 20 minutes, and I will not hold it against my boy Omar Epps because he does nothing wrong. Great Zaxby's commercials.
These actors were hired to do this, and they did the best with it. This is not one of those movies where it's so bad that you can watch it and make fun of it. But I just don't see the joy in watching this film. The logic of it was bad.
Yeah, it was a bad film.
My disagreement point is I don't think they all did the best that they could. Giovanni Ribisi is actively bad in this.
Yes.
That was only in the first 22 minutes he was bad. From there on, he stole the show.
Yeah, you didn't see the heel turn. Phenomenal.
That's true. He could have carried the last two, I want to say 2/3, but really 7/8 of this movie.
And your statement on that could be very true. He could have been called in like a few days before it started shooting. Tobey Maguire left for creative differences.
Yeah, he read it.
99 is a bad year. Except for the next movie, which is The Virgin Suicides. He narrates this film, so a little bit different. Sofia Coppola film, a young Kirsten Dunst, not as young as Kirsten Dunst in Jumanji from 94, but still Kirsten Dunst kind of leading the way. Spoken through his voice. Much better film than the last two we just talked about. Sofia Coppola as a director, she hooked me.
Yeah, this was on my list of shame for sure. This is a movie that I am supposed to like. It hits all of the things that I like. It's simple in its plot and how it moves.
Mm-hmm.
It leaves a lot of room for you to attach meaning and themes to it. And I like this movie quite a bit. Giovanni Ribisi is a great narrator.
It's good at it.
As a teacher of young people, it's tough to see. I think the movie does a good job delivering on its overall premise, the mystery around these people and how their lives function. It's a movie that like you watch and then you go and talk about for a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm. Holy fuck, happy ending.
It's a wild ending. And the movie asks really hard questions.
All right, the big one here. We've referred to it so many times now, but his role is Seth in Boiler Room alongside Nia Long and Vin Diesel.
This guy was in Saving Private Ryan and Lost in Translation and Avatar. Boiler Room is the big one.
The big one, number one on his IMDb. It's Boiler Room.
It is.
This is when I became first aware of him as an actor.
Yeah.
Well, it's the one of the four you just mentioned where he's actually a lead.
That is true.
So before you guys mock this movie,
Don't. Movie's great.
I'll say in rewatching it, I shared this with the group prior, but I might as well record it as well. This movie is so fucking Long Island. I didn't remember it being that Long Island. He does a monologue where he says JT Marlin is off of exit 53 off the LIE. I grew up off of exit 56. Exit 53 is Comac. They're a bunch of pussies who suck at lacrosse, but border on the town that I grew up in. That is the exact grouping of people I was raised amongst. He also says it's an hour away from Wall Street. That is taking a lot of freedom. And it's an hour if you take a helicopter. It's more like an hour and 45 because Long Island is incredibly overpopulated. I enjoyed this movie, though. I really did. I don't think it sticks the landing. I think it does really well showing you that these guys are actually kind of stupid. They're committing a crime and they're kind of willingly participating in it. I think it just kind of tells you the ending before like kind of earning that, emotional payoff there. But that's my only complaint against this. I absolutely love that Vin Diesel is mocked relentlessly for being Italian in this movie.
Accurate.
I've met a million Nicky Cats from this movie. Every Italian joke he has is hilarious. And then when he describes kind of how rich Italians act, that is a fascinating and clearly lived in experience that the writer of this movie has because he nailed it, lives well with beyond their means, they're rich, but they spend 3 times more than they have to appear to be richer. And I was like, damn, this dude, he clearly was in the jungle of Long Island and was like, I'm mocking these people because he really nailed it. But yeah, Vin Diesel being Italian was the laugh out loud funny moment for me when finally they're like, hey man, if you're this rich and like drive a Ferrari, why do you live with your mom? And he's like, what? And it just like moves on from him immediately. I was like, this guy clearly knows my people. I think Ribisi does well in this. I think he does well in the, I'm kind of like not really a con artist, but I'm kind of a hustler.
Slick.
Yeah, slick. There you go. It's like I'm smarter than I should be for where I kind of am in life. And then when I get put next to people who appear to be what I thought smart people were, the rich day traders, I realize they're kind of stupid too, and I can out hustle them. I enjoyed the movie, and I don't care if people hate on it because I got to stick up for my people.
This movie begins and ends with a quote from the notorious B.I.G.
That's right. From Long Island, by the way.
Your response is hilarious.
That's right. I got to defend it.
I have a hard time with this. I like James a lot.
I didn't know this was going to get personal.
I don't want to say anything that's going to offend him. The white guy that is in this movie, you can kind of segment off white people, and it's like there's the ones you're scared of, and then there's ones that are just like really annoying and insufferable. And these are the ones that start their movie that don't have anything to do with anything the notorious B.I.G. is saying in that song. You start your movie with a quote and end it with that quote. It also has nothing to do with what Giovanni Ribisi is doing. And that set me off. I was already like, I can't. You're either slinging crack rock.
I got a wicked jump shot.
Or have a wicked jump shot, which is a statement Black people say on how they're supposed to get out of the projects that this movie just co-ops and uses for privileged white dudes.
Borderline offensive.
If this didn't start and end in that way.
He's the son of a judge, okay?
Yeah, he's got to figure out a way to get out of his tough situation.
Yeah.
And I think if this movie doesn't start with that, it changes its soundtrack, takes Nia Long out of it. I like this movie a lot more. And this is not because Nia Long is bad. It's because I look at Nia Long and I go, why are you in this?
It's so odd she's in this movie.
It feels like an affront to our people. It's so bizarre in that way. But there's just white dudes that really love hip hop and hip hop adjacent culture.
When it's really mocking Italian culture, not even yours.
It really is.
The thing is, what you're offended by is not the movie's doing. This is real that exists. These are real people. There is no more fakely oppressed group on Long Island than upper middle class white people. And this movie hones in on that, where he's like, slinging rock or got a wicked jump shot, and he dropped out of college to gamble, and his dad is a judge. Like, he's got all the privilege in the world. He's just kind of going through the I don't know what I want to do with my life phase. This is what Biggie and Nas were talking about. It's like, no, it is not what they were talking about.
I have too many options. I don't know what to choose.
If you take those little elements out of it, I actually like this movie. Those things just particularly really bother me. It's like a pet peeve thing. I don't think it's a movie thing. I think it's I've experienced a version of this white guy, and I don't know how I feel about it.
This is a movie like Law Abiding Citizen from the last episode, where I'm not going to go around telling people it's a pinnacle of cinema, but I'm going to tell you I enjoy watching it every time it's on.
I think Giovanni Ribisi is legitimately captivating to watch.
Yes, in this movie. We're going to get the financial planning perspective here.
Certainly when it came out, if you were a new person in the industry, maybe you get a little jazzed because, he's talking fast and whatever it is. When you're talking savings or people's investments, they sacrifice to save those types of things. But I immediately am thinking of Bernie Madoff and a guy that put together fake statements and brought people in and is the epitome of a person who is doing the right things, but underneath it, he's a total fraud.
Ribisi does something in this movie that one of the things I'm the biggest fan of his about is he's able to perform in a way that you feel the moral disconnect of his character.
You do.
Like his character just does whatever it wants, not even caring if it's right or wrong. And in some of the best performances he does, I mean, we're going to see it here in Gone in 60 Seconds again. He just disconnects from what's right and what's wrong, and you buy it. I think he does a very good job in that particular lane.
That's a good cue up. Aubrey, you ready? I need you to look. Hold on. Look, check me. Ready? All right, let's do Gone in 60 Seconds, the largest audience gap. He plays Kip. It's got a 25.77 gap in the Rotten Tomatoes land, 2000 with Angelina Jolie, and Aubrey has it.
This movie is one that I thought was on my list of shame because I've heard a lot of people talk about this, and I thought that I remembered hearing them say great things about it, and they were all wrong. So Nicolas Cage is a retired car thief who is working with children and teaching them how to drive go-karts. And he is pulled back into the thieving game after his brother, which is Giovanni Ribisi, is in dire straits. To save his life, Nicolas Cage has to pull off a heist for some random foreign criminal. And the heist is to steal 50 cars in 3 days.
Yeah. Better do it all at one time than over 3 days, Aubrey.
Yeah, you do it one night so they never pick up on it. Yeah, exactly.
They recruit their team, plan the heist, scout the heist, and get all the information they need in 2 days, and then pull off the heist in a day. Spoiler, they do the heist. I don't understand why they're doing this heist. I don't understand how they get away with this heist for the most part. I don't understand a lot of this movie. Why would he show up back to a town and federal officers would accost him and say, "You're the one that got away"? Would not just arrest them in that moment if they know he's committed crimes before? I don't understand that. I don't understand why Giovanni Ribisi's hair looks that way. I don't know why there are 2 to 3 guys that look exactly like Tweeter from Varsity Blues, and only one of them is Tweeter from Varsity Blues.
A lot of Scott Conn.
I don't know why Angelina Jolie is in this movie at all. I don't understand anything. But to me, the biggest sin this movie makes is it is a heist movie void of a real heist. There's very little heisting that happens in this movie. They just successfully steal cars, and you see it in 30-second increments. They just walk up to a car and get in it and drive away.
What about Eleanor?
It's not a heist. I hate it. I found this movie to be dull because it spends so much time in its first half just kind of meandering around what it is that they're supposed to be doing that you lose all of the elements of a heist. There's supposed to be a great planning sequence. This one is mediocre. There's supposed to be a great sequence where they pull in the team. This one is mediocre. I don't understand this movie or apparently the passion for this movie. I think Giovanni Ribisi is par for the course in terms of pretty much everyone in this movie is bad. He's no worse or better than anyone else. I dislike this movie extremely. I will never watch this movie again if I don't have to.
And you had to rent it, I would assume. So just to pepper in.
I did. I had to rent it.
You should have bought it. Have it forever.
And I still don't fully understand why this movie is called Gone in 60 Seconds.
Well, it's a remake.
Yeah, but isn't there supposed to be a scene where they like shamelessly just say the movie title or allude to the movie title?
Well, it's about stealing cars fast, you know? You gotta get out of there quick.
Even then, like, there should be some kind of arbitrary like trick to stealing cars that they have. Like they're just like good at it.
Everything Aubrey said is factually accurate, except that this movie's good. So it is not my fault that you don't understand the artiste that is Nicolas Cage. Why is Angelina Jolie in this movie? It's because she's hot. That is why she's in this movie.
She is hot.
There is a heist. I don't know if you missed the last part of the movie, but they steal those 50 cars. That's the heist. It is well defined what is expected in this movie. I think this is exactly where Nicolas Cage thrives, where the plot is so absurd that it only works because he is absurd. And that's what makes it great. When they play Lowrider to get pumped up,
Yes.
it fills my soul, that scene. They just sit there vibing out to Lowrider before they steal the cars. Fantastic.
I knew this was going to happen.
Welcome to an audience gap film.
For sure.
I'm going to take Aubrey's on the critic side and James is on the audience side.
For sure.
And you've demonstrated the point quite nicely, gentlemen.
Aubrey, this is a Munson's first. You reviewed 2 back-to-back films where Vinnie Jones doesn't have any lines.
Bingo.
Congratulations on that. Roger Ebert wrote in his review of this movie, Gone in 60 Seconds is a prodigious use of money and human effort to make a movie of no significance whatsoever.
Of that guy.
That being said, I'm on James's side of this argument. I love this movie.
All right, so the next couple of years we'll officially refer to as his Kate Blanchett era, because he joins her in 2000 as Buddy Cole in The Gift alongside Gary Cole. So we've talked about this movie before.
Yep, I reviewed it.
Yeah, this is a movie they refer to in the film Harold and Kumar, where he says, "We're watching The Gift. We're going to see Katie Holmes's tits." And this is the movie. This is like Boiler Room for me. The Gift, I don't know if it's a particularly good movie, but it's got a lot of good actors that I really enjoy, and it's got a story that is wackadoodle, but weirdly enjoyable. I don't know why. It's hard to describe it. This movie, Kate Blanchett plays a psychic type who essentially foresees Katie Holmes's murder and then gets pulled into the investigation by the police. And Greg Kinnear plays Katie Holmes's husband or new fiance, and Giovanni plays the like unhinged repair guy who like helps defend things. So the movie kind of frames him as he might have been the unhinged one who killed Katie Holmes, but really he's just dealing with a lot of mental health issues. And so I don't want to spoil anything towards the end, but let's just say Giovanni Ribisi is not the culprit of this particular crime. And Keanu Reeves plays an abusive husband, and
Whoa.
believe him as an abusive husband, but he beats the shit out of his wife. Keanu Reeves is beating the shit out of Hilary Swank in this movie as an abusive husband. It's a wild film. Giovanni Ribisi is pretty memorable in this movie. And then a couple years later, he joins her again in the movie Heaven, which I tried to watch in the background, but a lot of the film is not in English, and so I could not pay attention properly. I think it was in Italian, right, Aubrey?
Italian.
Yep.
Yes, I did watch this. It's like a good, solid movie. Kate Blanchett is essentially committing domestic terrorism.
Oh.
Because her husband died and the police aren't doing anything about it. And so there's a couple of twists that go into that make it really engaging. But Giovanni Ribisi is one of the police officers there that translates for her. And then he essentially builds a relationship with her. It's a smart movie. It's a clever movie. It focuses mostly on Kate Blanchett, which is meaning that the people behind this movie are also really smart. Because your movie can't be bad if Kate Blanchett is going to take up most of the screen time. He is basically the co-lead, though. Like, he's in this movie a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It does a lot of pretty good work. Sit silently and react to a lot of what she's doing. A lot of his feelings come across without him having to communicate. You know, this is a tally in the column for him being a really strong actor because he's doing really difficult things. And he's bringing apart like a whole separate part of this movie that has to work. He is able to bring across, and he's able to do that without saying a ton, especially at first. So like, this is one of those movies that hardly anybody has seen unless you were really in your movie bag in 2002. Would be one that if you go back and watch, you'd be happy you watched it.
Received well. Who wrote this?
Don't do that.
Fuck off. Christoph
that.
Kieslowski and Christoph Peisowitz.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Polish guys.
You know what?
All right, so Aubrey and I watched the 2K Blanchett films, so we bookended that there in the early 2000s, so that's good for the people. All right, highest critic score is Lost in Translation, 2003. I drew this one. Plays John. I'm going to give a quick overview, and I'll open it up to you all, because I know you either probably really enjoy this movie or rewatched it and maybe have some really interesting thoughts. This movie was nominated for 4 Oscars. It won one of those Oscars for Best Original Screenplay, which makes sense because I think the story construction and the way it's written is its biggest strength. It also had nominations for Bill Murray, Best Picture, and Best Director. The plot is a fading movie star and a neglected married young woman come to be unlikely soulmates in Tokyo, directed by Sofia Coppola. So this is at least the second time working with her since Virgin Suicides. He plays John Scarjo's husband in the film. He's a professional photographer. My first impression of him on screen was he looked really, really young. Like, he looked younger than he actually was. And he's just an awkward guy. And I was like, yeah, he can do that. He can play that well. He kind of actually reminded me of Michael Cera in any movie he's ever been in, except This Is the End. Like, just his appearance everywhere he went. Like, every version of Michael Cera, outside of doing coke and slapping Rihanna's ass, that's kind of the vibe that his character gave. And his character isn't malicious. He's just inattentive is probably the best way I would put it. But really, the movie's not about him. Like, he's a plot device, his character. At the end of the day, this is really a vehicle to talk about two individuals. They're on different life paths, but they're life paths that brought them to the same place and kind of threw them as fish out of water in this cultural space. And it's really fascinating to watch them have these parallel versions of loneliness through a different cultural lens. Food, music, culture, karaoke, whatever it happens to be. That part is really, really fascinating to watch. It's a very immersive film. I hadn't seen it in years. I remember really, really enjoying it, and for me, it aged very well. I liked him in the role. They could have put anybody really in that role, any like weird, awkward guy, and it would have been fine. It's more about how innocent and captivating Scarlett Johansson is, and Bill Murray is this older actor who's just like trying to find purpose as a family man. Watching those two worlds combine.
Another first watch for me.
Ooh.
Of my list of shame, there's tears, and this is in the upper tier of like, I don't even want to tell people I haven't seen this movie. That was very well laid out. I agree with you about Giovanni Ribisi. That's basically my takeaway. I would say I give him a little bit more credit because of the balancing act that he has to do, because this movie does seem to take its time to show that he's not malicious, that he's not purposely neglectful, or, you know, he's the purposeful cause of her loneliness. I think the movie goes out of its way to do that, and I think a lot of what he has to do has to convey that. I think Scarlett Johansson is amazing. I'm mad I didn't watch this movie earlier, because my take on Scarlett Johansson and her career was, oh, we didn't know that she was actually a great actor, but she's really a great actor. She just also happens to be one of the most beautiful humans that have ever lived. And it's like, oh no, she's been this good always. And then my last takeaway is just, this is why we need more diversity in storytelling, because the care, nuance that this movie approaches its subject matter with, the delicacy it goes into things with, I think is aided by the fact that a woman wrote and directed this, because it prevents it from really crossing lines and becoming something that it doesn't need to be, or it's not trying to be. It's able to hold Scarlett Johansson in a very interesting and compelling place without mistakenly over-sexualizing her or just taking the character in a different direction. For a really talented filmmaker like Sofia Coppola, this to me is what the height of her powers look like. And it's what I would call a near perfect movie.
A grown-up film, isn't it? Life can't be all superhero films or westerns or sci-fi or comedies. You know, sometimes you need grown-up films, and this is a grown-up film.
Free.
Yeah, this is what life is really like. Like, it's cool when you can take Tony Stark and have him go through an existential crisis, and it's like, oh yeah, that's what it's like to be lost and not really understand what I want to do. Sure, that's great, but also this is kind of what it really looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is why cinema is art, because two people can watch this movie and take away different things, have different experiences, and they both be equally as powerful.
If this episode has done anything else, it's continue to amplify my opinion of her as the director, having watched Virgin Suicides and this film. Damn good at what she does. All right, I'll keep us moving. 2003, same year, played Junior in Cold Mount alongside Phyllis Seymour Hoffman, Renee Zellweger, and Natalie Portman. I didn't rewatch this, but I do recall his character is a real piece of shit. He runs like a harem and lives with a bunch of wives that are 100% being held against their will.
And from North Carolina, obviously, a lot of this film takes place. It's supposed to take place in North Carolina, and during the Civil War. So there's always some tough subjects that go on here. One of the things that I just looked up is that this was a film that pioneered the use of Apple's Final Cut Pro software.
Really?
Moved to an off-the-shelf editing software. How about that for some wild stuff? This is a great film, by the way.
It's a pretty brutal display of the Civil War, so it's hard to watch. Sky Captain of the World of Tomorrow plays Dex, another crossover with Angelina Jolie. I remember this, just a big budget film there. Only made $58 million world gross, it looks like.
Yeah, against $70 million budget, so this lost quite a bit of money.
Oh, I thought it made more money than that.
Domestic, $37 million. Worldwide, $57 million. 59 rounding up, so yeah.
Next movie there in the mid-2000s, Big White plays Ted alongside Holly Hunter and Woody Harrelson. I kind of put it in the same category of like the gifts. It's Robin Williams. He plays a gentleman who he's down on his luck financially, and random happenstance, there's a weird situation where he like accidentally finds a dead body, and so he decides, instead of having a weird moment, he decides to use it as a way to like do insurance fraud with his brother. And his brother's played by Woody Harrelson, but his brother, unfortunate for him, shows up halfway through the movie, even though he's trying to convince people that his brother is dead. And Giovanni Ribisi plays the insurance investigator who's trying to figure out if this claim is legitimate or not. It's not a far cry from the type of role you might see him play. My Name is Earl, played Ralph, 6 episodes of that between 2005 and 2008. Also got a Primetime Emmy nom, so one of the few times he's gotten any awards love for his performances. And it's just a guest spot.
He fit in well with this cast. He did a nice job with his role.
What was Ralph like?
It's just white trash dirtball like the rest of them.
I know a few. Grew up around that.
Hey, leave me out of this, pal. All the characters in My Name is Earl were like charmingly unique.
Yeah.
He carried that same energy in a completely different way. He was kind of an antagonist, but yet you still found him entertaining. It was a fun show to watch.
From 2007 to 2012, he dated indie rock singer-songwriter Cat Power. Speaking of musicians, there for about 5 years. And then he married English model Agnes Dean in 2012. So there seems to be not a lot of gap between those two relationships. Read into that however your heart desires. But they were divorced by 2015. So not a ton of acting in there, just a lot of, I mean, we'll talk about some of it, but that's where his love life really sparked up in the mid to late 2000s. Public Enemies, played Alvin, 2009.
It was my first one off. I really wanted to watch this, but I just ran out of time.
Very good.
Good cast, good director. I mean, I'm the same boat. I didn't get a chance to watch this, but
Michael Mann. Yeah, I've never seen it.
This is the stage of their careers where Johnny Depp and Christian Bale were passing each other in opposite directions.
Accurate. Yep.
Giovanni Ribisi's probably ninth or 10th
Build on that.
on the cast order of this. So he's way down there in this one, but
Okay.
Good cast. Good cast.
This was also a year after a film that I watched that wasn't even on the show. It's called Middlemen with Luke Wilson. If we've seen some unhinged Giovanni Ribisi performances, this might be the most. He plays one of two characters who are in the porn distribution game, and he plays like a coked out psycho. So you thought his hair was crazy in some other films. His hair is all over the place. He's always wearing a bathrobe, and he's as paranoid as humanly possible, to the point where I think I was talking to Casey the other day, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he wasn't acting. I think he was coked out on set, and they're like, action. Give him the coke and let him go. He is frenetic as all hell in that movie.
Allegedly.
But as we've talked about, he can play that kind of character really well.
Yeah.
All right, James, pontificate on his role in Avatar for us as Selfridge. 2009, first of 3 appearances in the franchise.
Listen, there might be James Cameron haters and Avatar haters, but I am not one of them. I've learned to never doubt James Cameron and respect the cultural impact that his movies have. And when people like mock Avatar, I'm just like,
I love James.
Listen, what's the line they say? Is like, oh, can you name one character's name or mention a good quote? I was like, no, but I can tell you that I was in awe for 2 hours staring at this movie, and I was blown away by how beautiful it was. I think he's the guy who is like the CEO who wants the unobtainium. If you can't tell by the name, you can't obtain it.
He's a piece of shit.
All correct.
I enjoyed this movie, and I've enjoyed all of them. I went into the second one ready to hate it, and I was 20 minutes in. I was like, oh, this is just like the first one. And then after 20 minutes, I was like, never mind, this movie rocks also. It's like, James Cameron's done it again.
Fuck that shit, James. Let him know.
I never hear people talk about it, but yet we're tracking nearly 10,000 films.
We've never talked about it.
Yeah, on top of that, 3 of these films are in the top 15 world gross that we have. It's amazing what James Cameron has done with this franchise.
I took my ponytail and I put it in the dragon ear. We went flying. It was so much fun.
You're damn right it is.
I have seen each of the Avatar films on opening night and I have seen each of them once. And I've also been to Disney, and I've been on the Avatar ride. So I have nothing against Avatar at all. It is absolutely a marvel to look at. But it's one of those things when those movies come out, and the movie came out there, you were like, oh, this is amazing. And Cameron is amazing to be able to develop not just a story, but the world. The story is pretty simple, but the world that he's creating is incredible. But I find him forgettable. I think all the criticism of like, well, you know, there's Harry Potter and there's Star Wars, maybe there's the MCU. This is incredibly special, and I certainly don't want to take anything from Cameron for doing it, but at the same time, it's the technology he put together and his use of it that is why I'm amazed with it. But I make fun of this film all the time. Big blue cat people.
The first time I show this movie to my kids, they're going to think they're on acid. They're going to be like, what the fuck is going on with it? Like, this story it's clearly tailored to children, and it's beautiful enough for adults. Like, that's kind of the experience.
I mean, I love these movies. I love them because I think they're just cinematic achievements.
Mm-hmm.
I don't particularly care about the criticisms. Like, it's not the strongest story. It's not the strongest character development. It's relatively straightforward and simple. All that's great. And sure, like, that's all true. I'm not going to sit here and argue for the complexities of the Avatar universe or the storytelling. However, I think in the midst of those criticisms, it can feel like what is being lost is a one-of-a-kind, once-in-a-lifetime cinematic achievement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, sure, wouldn't it be great if he could do both of these things? Yeah, it would be great if he could do both of these things. But also, he did something that no one else could do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's great enough. Giovanni Ribisi's character, ironically, is kind of, you can use him as a version of criticism for this. But it feels as if it is written so thin that it is just an archetype.
Yeah, 100%.
He's just the greedy kind of billionaire willing to do whatever to get what he wants. And he's mostly written out of the other two. Like, and he does fine. But I love these movies. I marvel at them. I think seeing the Avatar movies in the movie theater is just defining experience for like a film goer. And while I think they're overly, like, I don't remember the plot, I don't remember character names and things like that for the most part, I do remember how I felt watching the movie.
Yeah.
I do remember what it was like sitting in the theater and just marveling at Way of Water. And, you know, that matters. I think it matters. It should matter a lot. Because when I watch a lot of the movies I'm watching, they get passes for not being cinematic achievements. To create something that is truly one of a kind visually in a visual medium is something that I think should be held to a really high regard.
It's spectacle watching. The thing I thought about rewatching this, Aubrey, is when we covered Irfan Khan and we were talking about Jurassic Park and how he played the exec who like kind of went against the mold of how that's usually written of like, oh, this dude's a helicopter pilot, clearly not fit for it because he's taking everybody down with him. But like, that's not his character. It's just very much like archetype to be the asshole billionaire who just wants money, doesn't care about people. But the story needs that to be able to make it work. So like, he's a good fit for it in my mind.
No expense.
Yeah, you said it earlier. He's a plot device.
Yep. Somebody's got to do it, and somebody's going to get paid a lot of money to do it. So shout out for him to get paid.
Yep.
What he did, what I'm sure for all 3 Avatar films. All right. Well, speaking of film game changers, Ted plays Donnie alongside Mila Kunis. I say that in jest, but at the same time, maybe there's an element of truth. He is an excellent weirdo in this movie. When he's standing in front of the TV.
Dude, the dance scene. It's fantastic. Just grooving.
What an incredible weirdo who wants to steal this damn teddy bear for his kid.
Kind of gave me like Silence of the Lambs vibes with that scene, but because it was him, and I forget what song it is, I always found it funny.
I Think We're Alone Now by Tiffany.
Yeah, there you go.
We're alone now. Yeah, it's so creepy. The best part of this film is not even part of the movie. It's the outtakes where Mila Kunis couldn't keep it together in the car with Mark Wahlberg because he's on the phone. He's my teddy bear, and she just could not get an actual take because couldn't stop laughing at Mark Wahlberg saying teddy bear.
What a fun premise.
Mm-hmm.
This movie's so funny, and Mark Wahlberg is so good in this.
I know. It bothered me how much I enjoyed Mark Wahlberg in this movie.
Thunder Buddies.
He's so good in this. It's so funny because it's just like I don't know. I think part of it is the novelty. If you're just not expecting someone like Mark Wahlberg to like, be the butt of the joke in that way, like make fun of me for this long.
Mm-hmm. Seth MacFarlane, obviously, crossover again.
I wish Ribisi did more. I wish he did more comedies.
I agree.
Yeah, he's good at it.
He's only got 14 films, and the way his like natural character we kind of expect, it makes it easy for him to be really funny in these roles.
Yeah, just being awkward.
Mm-hmm.
He's not telling jokes. He just gets to be awkward, and it works well within the confines of the film. All right, well, let me flip it over to Selma, which is not that.
Okay.
He's hilarious in Selma.
Funniest movie of the year.
That was an awkward transition.
Here we are.
I could have skipped it and went to A Million Ways to Die in the West, but Selma is technically next on there. Andre Holland, Lorraine Toussaint, and Tim Roth. He does have a huge role in this.
He's in this for like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
right?
he's in it for like a moment. Yeah, on the front end. He's like advising the governor, I think. Or is he advising LBJ? I don't remember.
This is the downside of great character actors, is it not? You get cast in a movie like this and you have to look like a person, but you look like Giovanni Ribisi.
Yeah.
So like I know you, and you really can't be anybody else.
It's not a big role from the rewatch that I did. Yeah, I think it's one of those, if you're not paying attention, you'll miss him type of situation. So
he was an advisor to President Kennedy and President Johnson.
Okay.
You know, I just said I wish he was in more comedies. In this role and in Waco coming up, he also does a nice job with like litigious type characters who can navigate systems.
Do the procedural.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's kick it back. More Seth MacFarlane. A Million Ways to Die in the West. Plays Nathan. I rewatched this. He's his wife is Sarah Silverman, who's a whore, and he just really wants to have sex with her and has never done it. And they're like, maybe you should try to maybe like sleep with your wife. And he's like, no, I couldn't possibly impose on that. It's like, she is a prostitute, my guy. And Charlize Theron. You get a little Charlize action case.
There you go.
Oh, yes.
I refuse to watch this movie. Should I change my mind on that?
Do you like Seth MacFarlane?
That's a loaded question, isn't it?
I don't know.
Sometimes.
There you go. Me too.
Seth MacFarlane's a pretty natural writer for Giovanni Ribisi's abilities.
Mm-hmm. I'm not the biggest Family Guy fan in the world, but I like this movie. I think it's got its funny moments, and he puts people that are talented in some good spots. So I think Liam Neeson plays it pretty straight. He's entertaining in his role. Neil Patrick Harris is wonderful. I really like the character he's playing because he's a gay man who's pretending to be a really like hyper masculine, toxic straight guy, and that always makes me laugh when NPH does that.
Yes.
Yeah, this movie could probably wear on you if you don't like Seth MacFarlane's shtick, is what I would say, Aubrey. But if you like his stuff, it's enjoyable.
Have you ever seen Rustler's Rhapsody? 1985 with Tom Berenger? Similar?
Okay, so that's a good throwback there. All right, last review of the night. Largest critic gap. Results. Plays Paul. 85-36 gap. James has it.
So results came out in 2015. It's got, like I mentioned, 85 critic score, 36 audience score. And after watching it, totally get it.
Yep.
It is a character-driven, low-key, and comedy. So it's kind of less interested in its plot than it is in kind of being emotionally weird about people trying to improve themselves. The story follows a man played by Kevin Corrigan, who is like a clearly recently divorced, newly wealthy and depressed man who kind of wanders into a local gym looking for a personal trainer. There he meets Kobe Smulders from How I Met Your Mother, who she plays a kind of like intense and tightly wound personal trainer who takes like fitness and self-control way too seriously. The gym is ran by, Guy Pearce, kind of like an aloof but good-hearted gym owner. This movie really honestly focuses there's a love story here, but it's romantic comedy in like the loosest term.
Yeah.
Corrigan becomes more involved with the both of them, and his new money and kind of depression and impulsive behavior starts to disrupt their lives. Ribisi plays a stoner that Corrigan bumps into at a bar, and it's very funny when they first interact with each other because Corrigan goes there and he's just kind of drinking away his sorrows, which you don't really understand why yet. And he sees Ribisi, who looks like he's stoned off his ass, and he goes up to him and he's like, "Hey man, you know where I could buy some weed?" And he's like, "Do I look like a drug dealer to you?" He's like, "I'm not talking about drugs. I'm talking about weed." he's like, "I'm actually an undercover cop." Corrigan's like, "No, you're fucking not."
It's funny.
He's like, "All right, well, I am a lawyer." He's like, "Do you do criminal law?" And he's like, "No, commercial real estate." He's like, "All right, man. Well, do you have a card, I guess?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." He goes, "Also, I could help you find some weed." Yeah.
He goes, "By the way, I can probably help you with that other thing."
Dude, it's so funny. He's like, "I probably help you with the other."
And then it cuts to them smoking weed together.
So the movie is like super dialogue heavy. I think what makes it so interesting is that it's not really a traditional rom-com or comedy in general, even though it has the ingredients of one. It's more like observational humor. Its humor comes from awkward conversations, weird personalities, and people who are like trying to better themselves but don't really understand what that means. I loved Corrigan in this role. I think he brings like an offbeat sadness and humor to his performance. And he's not just like a quirky rich guy as like a plot device. Ribisi's only in a few scenes, but I think he's funny as like a clearly dirtbag who's in it for the money kind of role, but he's also Corrigan's lawyer, so like he is acting in his best interests. But like it's so clear he's just like a scumbag lawyer, but he's your scumbag lawyer, so I guess it's a good thing. In my opinion, movie felt a little too relaxed at some points, like the story meanders, some of the emotional beats don't land as strongly as they could. It does have like that indie comedy rhythm to it, which I do enjoy.
Yeah.
But sometimes it felt like it was more so circling the themes it wanted to explore rather than actually like developing them. But it's about people chasing improvement, trying to connect while like proving they're not as put together as they think they are. I lean more towards the critic side on this. I think it's slightly strange but kind of funny, and I think the performances really help with that. And so I just don't think it really fully sticks its landing. So I would go more towards like a lower 70s score as opposed to, review bombing it down to the mid 30s.
That's where I'd land.
I'm probably a little bit lower than you guys in high 50s, but it's got that indie vibe. And Corrigan is well cast in the type of role he's playing.
Yeah.
And I kind of like how his character plays almost like a healing role by the end of the film for these other characters you've met along the way. So like it's a harmless film and it's got enough charm to be worth a watch. All right. Anything else on results?
Nope.
Cool. Thanks, James. All right, let's round it out. 2015 to 2019, Sneaky Pete, 30 episodes.
Pleasantly surprised by this show.
Yeah, good show.
He is the main protagonist and he plays a con man. His name's not actually Pete. He stole, he had a cellmate who wouldn't shut up about his life and about how his family hasn't seen him since he was like 10, but he talked about how nice his family was and they're such good people, blah, blah, blah. And Pete, aka Marius, is his cellmate. And when he gets out, he just goes to his former cellmate's family and pretends to be Pete and like tries to hustle them out of money, but then kind of like likes them as people. And so instead of hustling them, he helps them and hustles other people on their behalf. And it's kind of like it's got like the Ocean's 11 vibe of like, there's no way they could pull this heist off. And then they do, only it's more like gritty dirtbag kind of vibe. So it's not like everyone's beautiful pulling off a heist. It's more like, oh, I hope he does the right thing. Oh, he does. Well, that's nice. And they do that for 3 seasons. It was an enjoyable watch.
I see Margot Martindale in all 30 episodes.
Yeah.
Dude, she crushes. My one caveat for this is it's very clear who is a very talented actor and who they absolutely whiffed on in casting.
This is one of the early Amazon TV series. Like this was an early one.
Uh-huh.
Impressive that they took a chance on him.
And it says something in the mid 2010s to say where he's going to be the lead of the show.
Dude, and Cranston's the bad guy in the first season.
Mm-hmm.
Whole antagonist arc is him trying to hustle Cranston in the beginning.
A lot of crossovers with Cranston is what I've gathered, more than I thought on the front end too.
Yeah.
It really was a special time where Amazon, Apple, Netflix, they were throwing money around, and a lot of gifted people got to put together a series.
They're probably like, who should we cast? Well, the show's called Sneaky Pete. Who would be Ribisi?
Yeah.
Call him. See if you can get him away from the Scientologist thing for a hot minute. And if he's willing to get on to be Pete, he could do it.
He's perfect for this role.
Yeah, he nails it for sure.
2018, he announced fraternal twins with Emily Ward. So that I believe that means he has 3 children at this point. So good for him, living the dad life. And then kind of rounded things out. We had Waco, The Aftermath, where he plays Dan. 5 episodes. Case, you want to throw anything on Waco?
Yeah, so this is Michael Shannon's amazing in this TV series.
It was great and everything.
Giovanni Ribisi is playing the lawyer who represents, if I remember correctly, a couple of the people from the David Koresh compound. He's unbelievable at a scene towards the end of it where his client gets railroaded because of what a different defendant did, and that person's lawyer let this person do something, and so he gets pissed and he starts getting into it with the judge. He's really good, but it's towards the end of the series. If you're a fan of Michael Shannon or you're a fan of like Texas history or U.S. history, I guess, it's a really, really interesting Paramount show to watch.
The other one in here, 2024, I haven't watched them because they're like 3 hours each. But Kevin Costner's like big attempt at the Western with Horizon and American Saga, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, where he's trying to like rewrite how cinema and Westerns are done. He plays Pickering in that. I
sat through it. The first one, 3 hours on HBO. And all I can say is beautiful. Beautiful film.
Yeah.
The story is kind of all over the place, but it comes together and not in a bad way, but at the same time, it's 3 hours. And that's the challenge with it. It's beautiful cinema.
Yeah. And the last note I'll put on here is if he was actually in the film, it would be his highest critic score because he's got such a small role in Selma, and we've covered Selma before. But he's the producer and the cinematographer of 2023's Strange Darling, which has remarkably really, really good reviews. And he's the cinematographer on the project. So I think that's really interesting that it's not just like, hey, I dabbled in a thing. It's clear he has a passion for this since he has all these cameras, but like he did the cinematography for a film that is widely well reviewed by both critics and audiences, which I think is really interesting.
I watched it, and I will say very cool story, unique way to tell kind of like a horror story.
Yep.
What stands out to me is the cinematography is stunningly beautiful. It is super cool.
Yeah.
And when I found out that that was him, I was like, oh, damn, he has a legit talent for that, because it is, it starts with a chase scene, and the chase scene is filmed incredibly. And then there's like an incredibly like sexy kind of just dialogue scene. And it's, just the way everything is the cinematography stood out to me as like well done. And he technically does have a role in this movie, Kyle. He is the guy on the radio at the end of the movie who's discussing true crime. Yeah.
Not enough.
Art Poloni.
Yeah, it's his voice at the end there.
So the first narration since Virgin Suicides?
Virgin Suicides, yeah. But the movie is it's cool. It tells a horror story in like a bunch of different chapters, but it doesn't tell the chapters in order. So who the bad guy is versus who's, the person trying to survive switches a couple times. And then it also switches on if it's even a horror story to begin with. It's pretty cool.
I enjoyed this movie as well.
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't like it?
No, I watched this a while ago.
Okay.
Because the buzz was so big. The cinematography is great though. It's interesting in what it's trying to accomplish. So I think it's worth checking out because it is it's trying to do something different. Just didn't work for me.
The consistency of everybody saying the way it's shot is beautiful.
Yeah.
That feels like a recommendation for people listening to go check it out and come up to their own conclusion.
Yep.
All right, Case, what do we got for top performances?
It's going to blow you guys away, but I could not find any articles talking about Giovanni Ribisi's characters.
Really?
Unless they specifically said, according to IMDb or according to Rotten Tomatoes or according to Metacritic. So there's no articles written about him, but we're in luck because as I was writing all the code for the new app or for the app update, obviously I was using the Giovanni Ribisi episode as my test runner. And I said, hey, Gemini, you want to come up with a top 10? And it said, sure, I feel uniquely qualified for this. So
brought to you by AI.
This is what I was able to generate. Giovanni Ribisi's top performance is showcasing his incredible range across critically acclaimed dramas and popular blockbusters. The following list ranks his top performances across film and television based on critical acclaim, character impact, and fan consensus. And it is ranked. It is actually a very good list.
I mean, Friends has to be on there if we're doing TV shows.
Yeah. Frank Buffet Jr. comes in at number 9.
The Virgin Suicides. Let's see if AI was like the narrator role. Would it bake it in?
The Virgin Suicides, 1999, comes in at number 12.
All right, AI.
I'm going with Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan comes in at numero uno.
There we go.
Oh,
Nice.
How about Boiler Room and Seth?
Seth Davis in Boiler Room comes in at number 3.
Look at that.
Avatar, then is number 2.
Avatar, both Avatar and Avatar Way of the Water comes in at number 2. You are correct.
Sneaky Pete.
Gotta be on.
Sneaky Pete, Marius Josephopovich, a.k.a. Pete, comes in at number 6.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Oh, yeah, go with that.
No.
Tip Raines.
No.
And Gone in 60 Seconds comes in at number 5.
Look
Yeah,
at that.
baby.
This is a smart robot.
It's a good robot. Where does the robot sit with Ted, Donnie, in his weird dance?
Donnie in Ted comes in at number 7.
That's my lucky number. Love that.
But for 1A, obviously it's the other sister when he played Daniel. Performance of a lifetime.
Unfortunately, I had AI listening to our conversation, and it did not include it based on our review.
Give me Cold Mountain.
Junior in Cold Mountain comes in at number 10.
Nice.
There's only one on here I don't remember us talking about. Everything else we've talked about.
Is it The Gift?
Evan.
Let's the Blanchett roles. Aubrey and I want to know about.
Yep.
Neither of the Kate Blanchett roles made the list.
Bitch, smack that away.
That Thing You Do.
That Thing You Do is not on the list.
Yeah, it was a relatively small role.
I bet it was The Wonder Years.
The Wonder Years is not on the list. You're missing an easy one.
Public Enemy?
Public Enemy is not on the list.
We love the movie. Lost in Translation.
Duh.
Lost in Translation comes in at number 4. And the final two movies, we talked about this one at number 11 as L.C. White in Selma at number 11. And Moberg in The Rum Diary in 2011 comes in at number 8.
With Johnny Depp.
Yeah, that is a pretty good list.
All right. Thanks, Case.
Yeah, man.
All right. Let's get into the Munson Meter. What we do, we rate every actor on a scale of 0 to 100 based on a variety of factors that could include anything from longevity, project choice, pop culture impact, acting range, awards footprint, other talents, personal life, comedic chops, box office success, and anything else that matters to us as Munsons. We will start this time with Aubrey.
This is always fun. The character actor guys are great. I think he is a great one. He can do a lot of different things. He's shown the ability to work in an ensemble, to kind of steal a supporting role, to lead TV series and movies. He's got a pretty versatile kind of palette that he works with. He's a strong actor. I wish I would have seen a little bit more nuance, a little bit more depth. But overall, I think he's just a really strong, reliable character actor. He's a good guy that to have in your cast can kind of come in and do anything. So for that, I'm keeping it simple. and I will put him at a 73.
All right. Let's go to Case.
I really like the way he takes roles. Like I said earlier, I find when he's in situations where he has a moral detachment, I think he's really good in that role. I think he's really good at being unhinged. At the same time, I think he's great in comedies. I don't know that he's had a ton of success leading, which hurts him a little bit, but he's somebody I recognize every time. If I hear he's in a movie, I might be a little bit more interested to see it. I may not go to the theater for it, but it may help get me there. I like what he does, and I really enjoy what he does, and I'm going to give him a 77.
Chip, our guest Munson.
So I'm swinging farther for you guys. He seems to have such a consistent career. It started, early in life. He remained busy. That was certainly helped the case for him. In addition to that, he's been able to continue to get roles.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't seem like he's having big gap years. And my goodness, he secured Avatar. So, whatever we say about him, he certainly has made a tremendous amount of money. I'm going to say a 90.
All right.
Oh, all right. I'm going to follow up that. All right. James and I are going to we got a task in front of us here. I don't know where James is going to go with his. I like Giovanni Ribisi. The Leslie Bibb episode prep was not the most enjoyable, and I think we talked about that. I found his prep to only be slightly more enjoyable when it came to the types of stuff I watched. It wasn't like I went to a Daniel Day-Lewis. That's a tall bar, but it's one of those, I appreciate him as a character actor, but it's not like I go out of my way for his films or his roles. Mm-hmm. Granted, I don't watch a lot of the TV side, so I haven't seen Sneaky Pete. I haven't seen a lot of his early TV work either, or I'm not a Friends person either. I don't actually hate Friends. I just never really watched it like that. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to color some of what I rate him. He is the first person we've ever covered that's active member of the Church of Scientology. In the words of Kevin Nealon from Happy Gilmore, psycho. But to be fair, I would say the same thing about Elizabeth Moss, Travolta, or Tom Cruise. So I'm going to try to be somewhat consistent there. But he has certainly cornered the market on the weird guy in Hollywood. And that's a niche. And someone's got to fill it. And boy, has he made a career out of it. So I got to give credit where credit's due. But he's a tough one to evaluate because while he can do leading role in things like Boiler Room and he can play wacky sidekick, side character, I don't find him particularly funny. Like, I think his awkwardness can be funny, but I don't think he's like a naturally funny person in interviews. A lot of times we're like, I would love to get a beer with that guy. I don't know if I'd want to get a beer with Giovanni Ribisi.
You're not fast friends is what you're saying.
I don't know if that kind of energy is what I need in my life.
It's not that charisma.
No. I mean, I got to give him credit for his cinematography work. I think that's really unique for Munson's. And to see him gets the praise he's gotten. But his role in The Other Sister and it's brutal. The movie's brutal. It cannot be forgiven. I also saw that and The Mod Squad. And I didn't rewatch Saving Private Ryan. And he has no awards footprint. His pop culture significance, the general person doesn't know who Giovanni Ribisi is.
Right.
I think you guys are very nice. I'm going to give him a 67, which I think is a fair Munson score.
I don't know.
And I'll toss it to James to round us out.
I think his strength is his willingness to, swing 100% at the roles he takes. And, sometimes he hits a towering home run and sometimes he strikes out. And that's okay. I think when he hits a home run, I think you're looking at weird performances, vulnerable, funny, and unsettling, right? I think those are words that come to mind. And then, sometimes, you drill yourself into the dirt like The Other Sister. But I do think even when it doesn't fully work, definitely interesting to watch. That's for sure. I thought that movie was funny, even though I don't think they were going for funny.
Yeah.
There is a dark kind of somber quality to him and, also bizarre off the wall energy that I think fits really well in contemporary, flashy movies. And while he started off doing a lot of those, he hasn't done a lot of them recently, but his eye for the cinematography shows that he still kind of has that, because what I saw in Strange Darling was truly impressive. He's definitely not a traditional leading man, but he's one of those character actors that has a small role that can kind of stick with you, which I do find impressive. Also, other than that, he's a nice Italian boy. His name's Antonio Giovanni Ribisi. All right, I got to give him a couple points there.
Attaboy.
And he also looks like exactly like my brother-in-law, so that's got to count for at least a point. So I'm going to give him a 78.
All right. That ties him in 51st place with Owen Wilson with a 77.
All right.
Before James's score, he was at a 54th overall, which would have equaled his box office score, which I was just hoping James would try to match mine. But tied for 51st, so right behind Goldie Hawn and Elliot Page, and just ahead of Dennis Quaid, Chris Pine, and Rami Malek. Thoughts about that?
Drastically different actors in that range.
Sure.
You're looking at like comedic actors to traditional Hollywood leading men archetypes to similarly quirky dark actor like himself and Rami Malek.
Nope.
We were much more favorable to him than the critics, the audience, and his film Superscore by almost 22 points.
Wow.
Well, they didn't take into account that he looks like my brother-in-law.
That's fair.
And I certainly was the outlier there.
You should talk to Christopher Hessenflow over there. Talk to Brother Hessenflow. Don't talk to me. I wasn't the we. My score's
I was the outlier.
I respect Chip. I love that Chip says it with his chest. He comes in and I love you or I hate you, and that is completely
You know what?
fair.
I think Chip saw the Cinedata Pro. He siphoned it by average guest score. He saw his average was brought down by the Andy McDowell 33, and he was like, I got to juice it. Let me give 90 to Giovanni. Let's go up the ladder. So
I truly do think his longevity, the ability
that's true.
to remain busy.
For sure.
It's true. Aubrey, what's he got coming?
He has the aforementioned Avatar 4 and 5, which I am excited for and hope those happen on time, maybe even sooner. He has another movie called The Callback. There's not a ton of people that I'm familiar with in this. Willa Fitzgerald is one of them. Carla Gugino is one of them.
Jai Courtney.
Dennis Quaid is one of them. Yeah, Jai Courtney. Yeah, I try to skip over that one.
Hamish Linklater from the Mike Flanagan world. Yeah, that's something.
But it's about Hollywood and nepotism, so there's that. That could be interesting. American Hostage is a TV series that is in pre-production, so we still got a little while to go on this one, but it stars John Hamm, which could be definitely interesting. But it's about a hostage taker who wants to go on an Indianapolis radio show, and Giovanni Ribisi is the hostage taker, so that definitely could be fun.
Sounds like the sequel to Airheads.
See that last name too? Almost great. One letter away from greatness.
Oh my God. And then the greatest, which is an Ali story. So he'll be in that.
Angelo Dundee's the trainer.
Yeah, so that could definitely be fun.
For sure.
An Ali story is something I'm always going to be interested in, but that is a series, not a movie. He's got a lot of TV stuff coming outside of Avatar.
Makes sense. He's got 2 8-year-olds at home as well, so I'm sure dad life keeps him busy as well. All right, next episode's going to hit June 18th. We've got Lauren Hopkins Price coming back. She was with us for Maya Rudolph, Elliot Page, Angelina Jolie, Kristen Bell, Dennis Quaid, and Harry Ford. 5 actors we threw onto the wheel. The wheel selected one of them, and Lauren decided to hang out with us for him. So we have Christian Bale, Bruce Dern, Blake Lively, Zach Grenier, and Jesse Plemons. What do we love and hate from that list?
Not Blake Lively.
Christian Bale for me.
I thought that was going to be the dude from Entourage, and I was going to be like, get the fuck out of here. I don't want, but that's Adrian Grenier, not this man.
Yes.
Christian Bale, Jesse Plemons. Those are my choices. Those.
I mean, Jesse Plemons, either of those two would be great. I love Jesse Plemons, so that would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I really just don't want it to be Blake Lively.
I think the most interesting projects to talk about would be Jesse Plemons, and I think the most interesting performances to talk about would be Christian Bale.
Yes.
I don't want Zach Grenier. I don't pass, but Bruce Dern would be interesting. Just like he's been in the game a long time, and so I'd watch a lot of stuff I've never seen before. So there's that.
Yeah.
If we do Bruce Dern, I'm going to reenact his scene from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm going to yell at you guys, telling me I'm blind. I can't see you.
You're gonna say like Nebraska, and you're just gonna like just pretend like you don't know why you're here. Just the whole time, just like what the hell?
Well, I do that naturally.
Who would Lauren pick based on her history and background?
Jesse Plemons.
Kind of feels like Blake Lively.
I hear a vote for Lively and Plemons, I think was the other one. So those are the two front runners. Chip, if you were going to come back to back, who would you take?
I'd do Christian Bale.
That's a good one. Well, you don't decide. Lauren doesn't decide. I don't decide. Contrary to what Aubrey tells his students, the wheel decides, and we'll see what happens. Chip, we've reached the end, the top of the mountain, my friend. This is the red carpet moment where you can talk a little bit about what's going on in your world, any wise words for our audience, plugs. The floor is yours.
It seems that we have a upswing in movies. The quality seems to have gotten much better over the last, say, 6 months, 8 months. Well, I think the COVID hangover is over, and there are films that I want to see. And so that is good news, because when we were doing too much scrolling, towards the end, we were really struggling to find good films. So I'm glad you guys are keeping that tradition, talking about the actors and talking about the films out there, because how exciting that is.
We're glad to get you back on the movie train, knowing too much scrolling kind of did its thing for a decade, and now you're out there still grinding the theaters, but gave you a reason to, put your head down and do some movie watching for a few weeks.
Absolutely.
You're the best, Chip.
Oh, thank you.
Always love having you, Chip. Appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, as always, you can find us on Instagram and Threads, Munson's at the Movies. You can email us, munsonsatthemovies@gmail.com. Any final thoughts from Giovanni Ribisi?
Nothing ever changes, man. 50 years from now, we're all going to be dead, and there'll be new people standing here, drinking beer, eating pizza, bitching and moaning about the price of Oreos, and they won't even know we were ever here. And then 50 years after that, those suckers will be dust and bones, and there'll be all these generations of suckers trying to figure out what the fuck they're doing on this fucking planet, and they'll all be full of shit.
Munson's out.
All right, let's go. Thank you for the education, gentlemen. We've just received a PhD in stupidity. Doctor, shall we?
Say, Edward, do you mind if I ask you something?
Yeah, sure.
You're okay with your girlfriend screwing like 15 different guys every day and getting paid to do it?
Oh, well, my job sucks, too.
I know, but I mean, you repair shoes.
Eddie!
Hey, I got you some flowers.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, come on.
Don't I have the best boyfriend, Millie?